Hey, this is Nathan Dawkin from Fantrax HQ, as well as the Nasty Cast and Fantrax Dynasty Baseball Podcast, and you're listening to Pop Goes Your World.
If you haven't already, subscribe on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave us a rating and review.
And now it's time for our feature presentation.
I'm Chris McBrien, and the pop culture from Generation X is everything to me.
And I'm Derek Myers, and I'm here to educate Chris on the great pop culture of today's generation.
Episode 340, Legally Blonde Movie Review. Hey, I'm Chris McBrien along with Derek Myers, and this is Pop Goes Your World, the pop culture podcast for the generations. Since I didn't like Derek's movie last week, Rodney Dangerfield's Back to School, believe it or not, didn't like it. So Derek wanted us to go back and watch a different movie about going back to school. So this time we watched 2001's Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon. And we're going to get to that movie review in just a few minutes. But first, Derek, what pop culture have you got to this last week?
Hey, Chris, I've got a smorgasbord of different things to talk about this week. Yeah. I'm gonna start by talking about books.
Okay. Educate me, please.
As I have, I think, mentioned on some of the previous podcasts, I'm currently listening to a series called The Expeditionary Force by the author Craig Allenson. And I just recently, actually just yesterday, finished book 8 in the series called Armageddon. And this series is fantastic. I'm blowing through them like about one a week. And I think there's like 15 or 16 books in the series so far. So I'm like just at the halfway point. And man, every time I think, oh man, what could they possibly do in the next book that's going to separate it from the one they just did? Oh no, the author comes up with some creative and clever idea and you're like, oh my God, this book is just so good. So if you're looking for a fun, light science fiction kind of adventure book, this series is really good. It's called Expeditionary Force by Craig Allenson. The very first book in the series is called Columbus Day because aliens come and invade Earth on Columbus Day. So the first book's called Columbus Day. But the overwhelming majority of this series takes place in outer space. It's a bunch of like rogue humans that steal a spaceship and they call themselves the Merry Band of Pirates. And they just wreak havoc with all these aliens while trying to keep their presence as humans in outer space a secret. And it's really good. It's a lot of humor. There's a really cocky, arrogant AI that's a huge part of the story. He brings a lot of humor to it. And no, it's really, really good. So the book I just finished is the 8th book. It's called Armageddon. It's part of the Expeditionary Force series by Craig Allenson. So really good. 2 thumbs up from that from me. So if you look for a Christmas idea for someone on your list, check out the first one, Columbus Day. Really good. All right. Then I watched a couple of movies. First, I had a couple we'll call easy guilty pleasure movies. I wanted to watch something that was Marvel, so I started watching Spider-Man No Way Home from 2021. This is the most recent Spider-Man movie, and when I fired it up on the streamer, it said, do you want to watch the regular version that you've already seen or the extended version with new scenes never before seen? I'm like, yes, give me that version. So I think it was
is this one where there's like the 3 Spider-Man guys?
Well, I didn't want to spoil it for people who hadn't seen it, but yes, it's basically they bring in a whole bunch of the villains and a whole bunch of the Spider-Man from the other previous Spider-Man movies. So it was really good. It's a really good movie. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, the new scenes were just okay. It's like when you watch a director's cut years later and you're like, you know what, probably a good call that you cut those scenes out, but putting them back in, it's sometimes it's fun to revisit a movie that you think you know really well, and then you get new scenes. You're like, oh, okay, well that makes this other scene. Now I get why they did this thing, but it didn't ruin the movie by not having it. So that's what I found with this one. It was fun to see the extra scenes, but I didn't feel any of the scenes were necessary. In fact, some of the scenes that come at the beginning of the movie, I felt really slowed down the main story. So it made perfect sense that they did not include them. But anyway, so I watched Spider-Man No Way Home extended version. Again, this movie's like a 9.5 out of 10 on a bad day. So, I mean, it's a good solid pick. So I was glad I got.
Do you want to know why I know that the 3 Spider-Men are in that movie? Because that's not really my jam, right? My older son dragged me to the movie theater back when it came out. He was like, I want to go see this movie. So I went with him. and we watched it. So that's how I know.
Yeah.
9.5 out of 10. Man, I don't know. I'm just not one of those superhero movie guys. So
okay. Well, I got my next one is definitely you're gonna want to give a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
We started watching Christmas movies and we said let's watch one we haven't watched in a couple of years. We went to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation from 1989.
Oh, I didn't like that one.
Well, I have only ever seen it once before. And so when I watched it the other day, it was like seeing it for the first time. There was very little about this movie that I actually remembered. It was fine. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Vacation franchise. I'm not a huge fan of Chevy Chase, but
I like the first one. The second one wasn't too bad either, but the European Vacation, but I didn't like Christmas Vacation. I know some people just love it, but I just wasn't
a lot of people. And so like I had a podcast on that I had been saving from last Christmas where they did a review of the movie. And I thought, oh, well, I'll watch it eventually. So I actually started listening to it today and the people were just gushing about how this is their all-time favorite Christmas movie. And I was wow,
some people love
that's
it.
A bold statement.
Yeah.
No, but I did find watching it now, given the age that I am, where I'm closer in age to the parents, whereas when I watched it the first time, I would have been much closer in age to their kids. I think the movie hit me a little differently. Like you can understand a lot of the frustration of the adults in the movie. And while a lot of that stuff is played for laughs, some of it just felt very familiar. Like where the guy was like a big part of the plot is he's expecting this huge Christmas bonus. And then his boss at work is like, we're giving you a membership to the Jelly of the Month Club. We're not giving you the $10,000 you thought you were going to get. And it was like, oh, yeah, I can understand why someone would be upset about that. Like, I'm not saying that's happened to me, but I've been expecting bonuses in the past where they have not been as generous as I was expecting. Like that sort of was pretty close to home. So anyway, it was fine. I mean, it was a Christmas movie. I'm glad we watched it. It was sort of our first one of the season, and now we can start rolling into those.
So it's only like November, like the 20th, whatever it was the other day. And I'm flipping the TV around and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was on. And I was like, and I love Rudolph. I watch it every year. The claymation one, I love it. It's too early. I didn't watch it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to watch anything Christmas yet. For me, it's got to be like December the 1st.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's like we talked about last week with the Whamageddon. It's like, sort of December 1st is sort of like the date.
So I'm holding out. So
yeah,
but good for you for watching a Christmas movie. But what else did you get to?
Yeah. Well, just about Christmas movies, we figured every year we make a list. Here we're going to watch these 10 or 12 movies, and we end up watching like 3 of them. Yeah. So that's why I said this year, let's start a little earlier and let's be a little more diligent about trying to get through some of these movies. So then I watched this awesome movie on Netflix. It keeps coming up saying, we think you would like this. We think you would like this. I'll read you the description. Okay. So it's from 2002. It says, when an ex-soldier who discovers gold in the Lapland wilderness tries to take the loot into the city, German soldiers led by brutal SS officers battle him. And this takes place right at the end of World War II. So it takes place in Finland, and it's the Finnish soldier fighting the Germans. And it's basically this one guy who's like this old gnarled soldier who's just trying to have like a regular life. And when he's trying to take these, like he's a miner, he finds these gold nuggets, he tries to bring them, and then the Germans basically steal the money, and he's like nuts to that. And then you find out he's got like this secret past where he's like this uber soldier that just killed all these like Nazis and stuff. It is so good. The movie's called Sisu, S-I-S-U is how it's spelled. Sisu, I think is how it's pronounced. And one of the great things I love about this movie is very much a lot of action, very little dialogue. The main character has no dialogue. He doesn't talk at all, but it doesn't seem weird. Like the way the movie is set up, it's very low dialogue. Even the Germans that he's fighting against, while they are talking to each other a little bit, the movie is just so clear. The way it's shot, the way it's directed, the way that it's put together, the action sequences are great. I mean, trust me, some of the action sequences are a little over the top, phony baloney, but it's really, really good. I was really happy that they suggested this. And then I looked it up. They're actually making a sequel, and it's coming out in the theater like in the next month or two. So clearly a lot of people thought this was a really good movie. So if you have this on your Netflix and it's popping up saying you might want to watch this, you might want to watch this. It was really good. It's called Sisu, S-I-S-U is how it's pronounced.
So a couple questions. So Sisu, what does that refer to? Is that the character's name or something? Or is that some Finnish term?
It's a Finnish term. So at the beginning of the movie, it says Sisu, and then it says, while there is no translation for this word, it basically means like someone who has like grit and determination and won't back down and can't be defeated and never gives up. And it's like, and then you realize like, oh, well, they're describing the main guy in this movie. It's fantastic. If you have a chance to watch this, and trust me, nothing makes me happier than watching a movie where Germans get the shit kicked out of them. Well, Nazis, not so much the Germans. They were Germans, but I mean, when the Nazis get killed, you're
nothing
like,
against our German
yes.
friends, but the Nazis.
But it's funny because one of the podcasts I listen to, that's when they go, nowadays in movies, they always have to be like, it's some nondescript country in the Middle East or South America because they're so worried about offending people. They're like, let's just go back to killing Nazis. Nobody has a problem when the villains are the Nazis. I'm like, you know what? They
pretty much universally
right.
accepted,
Yep, no problem. The more brutal, the better, because even in this movie, they don't directly show the atrocities that they did, but they allude to them pretty strongly in some scenes. You're like, oh, I hope that guy gets killed. And you're like, oh my God, he took a landmine to the face. Yes.
It's like at the end of Raiders, you just want to see all their faces melt. It's like, perfect. Yeah, this is great.
This is so good. So, yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty much it for me this week.
Okay. So I had something very interesting. So I watched a video. It was on YouTube, I believe it was. And it was basically, there was this professor and he was teaching a class on script writing. And then he's like, oh, I have some guest lecturers joining me today. And in walk Trey Parker and Matt Stone into his class.
Nice.
And I was like, what is this? And so they come in and they basically share their advice for these students that are like writing scripts. And so they said the secret for them always has been this, that most people write a script, like they'll be like, this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And they're like, that's a crappy way to tell a story. Like really, it doesn't drive storytelling. They said the way they do it, they do it with South Park, and they use the same technique every episode, is that they'll usually go in with a couple of nuggets. Like they'll have certain jokes that they want to tell. Like Cartman eats all the Kentucky Fried Chicken and then like bungs up the toilet or something, like whatever. And then they'll have a couple of these, but they'll say like their script writing technique is this: something happens, but this happens. Therefore, this happens. But this happens. But this also happens. Therefore, this happens. So it's always this but, therefore, has to be between each scene or else the story doesn't connect. And I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah, that's a clever way to talk about it. Yeah.
These guys that just came along making this like, paper cutout animated show back in like 98 or whenever it was when they started, they really have revolutionized comedy. And boy, are they good at their craft, and it made me remember the thinking too, when I went to see the Book of Mormon that they did, it was just so good. I just remember thinking like whoever was in Broadway at the time just must've been so mad at these guys. Cause they're like, we went to like, school, we went to graduate school to learn about theater, and we did this and we did this. And then along come these two guys from Colorado who make us look like fools because they're so good at what they do. Like, it's just amazing. But anyway, I wanted to share that. I thought it was a really interesting video watching how they put together a story. And I just thought it was fascinating. So that was what one thing I watched this week. So I had that. And then of course I have this.
Here's your dad joke of the week.
So Derek, my phone has this really, really cool app that shows me what I look like as an old person. It's called a camera.
Well, just remember, the camera always adds what did it say? The camera adds 15 pounds. So
exactly. And 20
it's
years.
A camera.
Apparently.
It's a camera.
It's a camera, of course.
I am a super nerd.
Dude, I don't know how you didn't get more girls in high school.
Or guys for that matter. I got nobody.
Nothing. You're a caveman. Just club them over the head and drag them home.
Oh, my.
And I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
You're not a nerd. Women love them.
Well, yeah, they do, but they're all nerdy women. So
The Fonz is 73 years old.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is basically Steven Spielberg giving a master's class on how to make a movie.
I found a Fonzie shirt that I want for Christmas.
Saw it, yeah.
And my wife was like, you're not getting that.
Can I finish? Okay, I'm finished.
So you know what I just noticed listening to that drop? That drop is 7 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say, how old is Henry Winkler now?
He's 80. and they just said the Fonz is 73. So very interesting. He just had his 80th birthday.
And it referenced South Park.
Yeah, his birthday was only
again.
like a week ago or so. So interesting. Okay, so last week we got done doing our movie. We did Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, and I didn't like it, surprisingly, I think. So we got done the show, and then we were going to do like a topic for this week, because we usually do a movie review, and then a movie review, and then a topic, and that's sort of the three show pattern that we follow. And then at the end of the show last week, you're like, nope, I'm calling an audible. You're like, you didn't like this movie? Yeah, I want to do over. So you wanted to do another movie about going back to school. So you decided to go with Legally Blonde from 2001 with Reese Witherspoon. So obviously you like this movie, or at least maybe you thought I might like it. So do you want to explain like why you like this movie or why you wanted to pick it?
Sure. So number one, it's a little bit newer than the 80s. I mean, 2001 was almost 25 years ago. So I wouldn't really call this a new movie, but I was pretty confident you had never seen it.
It's new to me, though. It's new to me.
It's new to you.
Yeah.
It takes while it is a comedy, I think it's a little more grounded than Back to School, which obviously has a lot of wackiness in it. Now, I'm not saying Legally Blonde doesn't have some wackiness in it, but again, for the kind of movie it is, I think it's a better movie. And I think that, again, it's a different perspective. Like we always talk about a lot of the movies that we like, that we grew up with, especially from the 80s, it's all about dick and fart jokes. And don't get me wrong, I love a good dick and fart joke, but there are other kinds of comedy. Well, I mean, a lot of women I know don't like them nearly as much as we do, but
Go figure.
Anyway, Legally Blonde is obviously a comedy. It's a college comedy, but it's a very different kind of movie than the kind of 80s comedies that would, like, if this movie came out in the 80s, it would have been a very different movie. It's a movie that features predominantly a female cast. Almost all the main characters are women, and the few men that are in this movie, most of them are despicable, with a couple of exceptions. And again, this is not the typical kind of movie that we would usually pick or review. Which is why I had suggested last week, maybe we try and get my wife to come on, because I know she loves this movie as well. Unfortunately, scheduling and other reasons, she wasn't able to join us this week. But no, so I thought, you know what? I'm hoping that by giving you the opportunity to go and watch this movie, especially when we compare it to the movie we watched last week, that you may enjoy it, more, that you may have some more positive things to say about this than you had to say about the one last week. And honestly, this has been on my list of movies to recommend for the podcast for a long time. So it just seemed like a natural fit, right place, right time kind of thing. So that being said, what were your sort of first impressions?
So doing this podcast sometimes just it's just so funny, because I don't know what would make you think that I would watch a movie from the 80s like Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield and not like it. And then have you like drop this on me. This is from 2001, Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon, and make you, I don't know what make you possibly think I would like this instead. But you know what? I liked it. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed this movie.
I'm very glad to hear that.
It was funny because, I mean, we got to be honest with this movie. Like it's not Citizen Kane. And it's not
it's not trying to be.
No, it's not. And it's not even a great comedy. Really, I didn't even really find myself laughing all that much at it.
No,
I just enjoyed it. It was an enjoyable movie to sit through and to watch. I think a lot of it has to do, or a lot of how much you would like this movie has to do with how much you like Reese Witherspoon, because she's is pervasive in this movie. Obviously, I think she's incredible. I think she's just, I don't know how do you describe her? She's like cute and talented and has a ton of charisma. She is a true movie star. Like, she really, really is. So I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, I'm very glad to hear it. And honestly, it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Reese Witherspoon. Like, I think she was fantastic in this movie, and I couldn't imagine anybody else playing it, despite some of the casting what ifs that I was able to find online. But I think, and again, she has been in some fantastic roles throughout her career. She's a really great performer. Just something about her, I don't know. I personally don't love her, but at the same time, I absolutely respect her ability to do what she does, because she is one of the best.
Yeah, let's stick a pin in that, and we'll come back and talk about the cast in a bit, because I agree with you on that. First of all, we got to talk about the box office. So we go back to 2001. Any guesses as to the number one film at the box office in the year 2001, Derek?
I was thinking about this earlier. Was it? No, I got. When did Lord of the Rings came out around this time? Was it possibly one of the Lord of the Rings movies?
So Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring did come out that year. I could just say
and that wasn't the number one. Okay,
I'm not gonna give it away.
Not the number one?
Make you guess. I'm gonna make you guess. It could be.
I want to. No, I know the Lord of the Rings did well, but I don't remember it being number one. This would have probably been around the time when like everything was being like franchised. So there was probably like Pirates of the Caribbean and when did Harry Potter come out? Probably one of the Harry Potter movies. I'm gonna go with one of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, so Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was the
first one.
Was the first one. That was the number one movie at the box office. But Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring finished in 10th spot, but it came out December 19th. So if you take its full box office, it would have been right up there with Harry Potter. But because it came out right like at the end of the year. So Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was number one. Shrek was number two.
I was going to say, it had to be more sequels. Yeah, Shrek,
Monsters, Inc. was number three, another animated film. Rush Hour 2 was number 4, and The Mummy Returns was 5.
Wow. Then, so 3 sequels and a franchise IP.
And more sequels and franchise IP rounding out the top 10. So number 6 was Pearl Harbor. And as I mentioned last week, my grandfather died at Pearl Harbor because he said that, oh my God, this movie sucks. And then number 7 was Jurassic Park 3. 8 was Planet of the Apes remake of the 7.
That was a Mark Wahlberg one, right? Yeah,
I guess. Number 9 was Hannibal, another sequel. And 10 was Lord of the Rings, Fellowship.
Lord of the Rings.
But again, because it didn't come out till December 19th, so it only.
Hey, you mentioned that Rush Hour was one of the movies. Rush Hour 2. I just read that they've confirmed they're going to start making Rush Hour 4. They released on social media today.
I didn't even know there was a number 3. So Legally Blonde finished in the 22nd spot, but it made $96 million. It finished just below The Others and just above America's Sweethearts, 2 movies I've never even heard of. And when we're looking at the box office, the top 20 movies all made over $100 million at the box office. The top 50 movies all made over $50 million. People apparently had a lot of money
different time
to spend going to the movies in 2001. So it got me thinking, and we've kind of gone down this road before, because I'm like, that's a lot of movies to make $100 million at the box office. Like 20 movies, that's a lot of movies. So I took a look and I was like, okay, so where on the list would 2001 fall in regard to the most $100 million movies in a single year?
Oh, good question. Okay.
So where do you think it would fall on the list? Like it had 20 movies.
10th. I think it's 10th. Because I think every year after this just got bigger and bigger, and then eventually it fell down a cliff.
So when I first saw this, I was like looking down the box office. I'm like, wow, look at 18, 19, 20. They all made over $100 million. That had to be a record. So I thought that's the record for the most $100 million movies in any single season. It's in 21st spot.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
the number one year with the most $100 million grossing films was 2013 with 35 movies that grossed over $100 million. It also had 13 of them grossed over $200 million. 4 of them grossed over $300 million, and 3 of them grossed over $400 million. 2013.
Wow.
And the number one movie that year was The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. So it wasn't even like the hugest of the huge movies. Like, this is crazy.
It was a pretty big movie, though.
Yeah, everything was after like 2000. Like, it's all of it. Now, I mean, you know, obviously it costs more money, and they started to put a lot of these films in like 3D, so they charge more money for that.
Yeah.
But like, they're all after like 2000. Like the only one that's, although I should say 2001 was in the 21st spot. 1999 was in the 20th spot with 21 movies, with The Phantom Menace being the number one movie that year. Go figure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Crap. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about this movie. Let's talk about the cast a little bit. So one thing I always like to take a look at is, you know, who wasn't cast in this. Okay. So Reese Witherspoon, like we said, like she was like perfect for this role. You know, perfect.
Yep.
And we'll cycle back to her in a second. But before we do, I just want to take a look at some of the names of actresses that were considered for the part, but that didn't get the part. There was a lot of them.
There were a lot. Yeah, I saw some of the list. Yeah.
So Christina Applegate was in the running for the lead role. Katherine Heigl. You remember her from Grey's Anatomy?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that would have been bad casting.
Natasha Henstridge. Wasn't she the one that was in like Species?
From Species.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Jennifer Love Hewitt. Mia Jovovich. Gwyneth Paltrow. She actually turned it down. Franca Potente was seriously considered and almost.
I don't even know who that is. Who is that?
She's the one from Run Lola Run, and I think she was also in one of the Jason Bourne.
The Bourne Identity.
Yeah, something like that. Chloe Sevigny was in it. She actually was offered the role and turned it down. I don't know if she could have pulled it off. She's a little rough around the edges. Alicia Silverstone, she turned it down. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I read. She turned it down because she felt it was too close to her character in Clue that she didn't want to sort of get typecast.
I get it. And Tori Spelling turned it down as well. And Charlize Theron turned it down as well. So lots of actresses turned it down. But it's so funny because you just couldn't picture anyone but Reese Witherspoon playing this part.
I agree.
Like it really. Yeah. So I was kind of like you. I didn't know a lot of her work all that much before I watched this. My wife watches Friends. And she played Jennifer Aniston's younger sister, and she was really good in that.
Oh, that's right.
She was really mean and like really.
She's got the baby's ears pierced. I remember that. Yeah.
And then Time Magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2006 and again in 2015. Forbes listed her among the world's 100 most powerful women in 2019 and 2021. And in 2021, Forbes named her as the world's highest paid actress. Yep. Unreal. 2023, she was named one of the wealthiest celebrities in the United States with an estimated net worth of $440 million. She's done very well for herself. Yeah. And not just commercially, like critically, she's been nominated for 2 Best Actress Oscars. She was nominated for 2005 with Walk the Line, which she won.
I was going to say, she won for Walk the Line.
Yeah. She was nominated again in 2014 for Wild, but she didn't win that one.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I'm just looking now. Who was she up against? So she was nominated for Wild. Rosamund Pike was nominated for Gone Girl. Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything. Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night. And then the winner was Julianne Moore for Still Alice. I haven't heard of like any of those. The only one I'm familiar with.
I haven't seen any of those movies.
I saw The Theory of Everything.
Oh, no, I did see The Theory of Everything.
And Felicity Jones was really good in that, I remember.
Yeah. Because Eddie Redmayne won for that one, if I remember correctly.
What's that?
Eddie Redmayne was in that movie?
Yes,
I think that's the one he won for.
Yes, and he did. He won for Best Actor. So, yeah. And then in 2005, when Reese Witherspoon won for Walk the Line, she was up against Judi Dench in Mrs. Henderson Presents, Felicity Huffman in Transamerica, Keira Knightley, Pride and Prejudice, and Charlize Theron in North Country. Maybe just Felicity Huffman in Transamerica might have given her a run for it, but other than that, the Academy loves to give the award to people that play like living people or like people that were real. Yeah, and that's what she did.
Biographies and stuff. Yeah,
with June Cash. So okay, so yeah, I just thought she was perfect in this movie. She was this character. I couldn't imagine anyone else playing her. Anyone else would have been cast in this film. It would not have been the same movie.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, no, she was good. So, but other than that, like I didn't really know her work. Or like, even though she's won an Academy Award, I'm not really all that familiar with her. She's doing a show on Apple TV called The Morning Show, I think it is. My wife
I think it's going its 4th or 5th season now. It's been on a while.
My wife was like, oh my God, their show's so good. And I thought, well, she's in it, and Jennifer Aniston and Steve Carell is in it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty freaking good.
I think Billy Crudup's been in it a couple seasons as well.
So I watched it. I didn't like it. It wasn't my jam. It wasn't for me. So I just didn't watch it. But my wife likes that. So Luke Wilson is in this as well. He plays Emmett Richmond. He might be the most vanilla actor in Hollywood history. This guy. He just plays himself, you know? Like, I liked Old School. I liked that movie, but he is by far the worst part of that movie. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, man, I don't know what it is about that guy. He is just so bland, and I don't know. So
hang on. How many movies with him in it have we reviewed? We did this. We did Idiocracy. And
and Old School, and this, and that's it. Like, what else has he done?
Is that it? I don't know. I'll look through his IMDb here real quick while you're moving on to the next thing.
I don't think he's done
he's
anything else. I just, so I want to talk a little bit about Victor Garber. He was Professor Callahan.
Right.
And then, so he's Canadian, and he actually got his start in Godspell, which was very seminal. And when it was on Broadway, and then when it came to Toronto in 1972, everybody who was everybody in the Toronto sort of theater scene, any actors in Toronto, they wanted to be in Godspell. And Andrea Martin, Martin Short, Gilda Radner, Eugene Levy, and Jane Eastwood were all in that cast, along with Victor Garber. He played Jesus. And it was funny because all of them sort of knew that Victor Garber was like the big man on campus. Everyone thought he was going to become a huge Hollywood star. And then he made his film debut playing that role, Jesus Christ, in Godspell in 1973 when they made it into a film. And he's been nominated for 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards. He has been in Titanic, and he was in Milk and Argo.
Right, he was in Titanic.
Yeah, I mean, he won in Argo. He won the Screen Actors Guild for that. But he's been in other movies like Sleepless in Seattle and First Wives Club, and he was obviously in this and Sicario and stuff. But on television is probably where he's best known because he played Jack Bristow in Alias.
Yeah, for sure.
2001, 2006. And in that, he got 3 consecutive Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actor in that.
Nominations, or did he win?
No, he won 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
And he also was nominated for Emmys in Life. What was it called? Life with Judy Garland, Me and My Shadows. And he did guest roles on Frasier and Will and Grace, both of which he was nominated for Primetime Emmys as well. So he's very critically acclaimed, but he never really reached that success sort of commercially or with mainstream audiences that I think everyone thought he would when he started out in Godspell back in Toronto. Everyone thought he was going to be it. And he's a good actor. I like him, but he just never became like this big movie star. And then, of course, he ends up being the bad guy in this movie, the way it turns out. So this movie had 2, I just got to mention this. This movie had 2 of what I would consider to be the two of the sexiest actresses in Hollywood. And maybe surprisingly, Reese Witherspoon isn't one of them. Although she was named one of the 100 sexiest women in the world by the readers of FHM magazine. But the 2 I wanted to mention were Selma Blair and Ali Larter. They were Vivian and the wife of the guy that is killed. I think her name was Brooke or something like that. I would watch this movie again just for them. They just have this incredible screen presence about them. And neither one went on to become a big star or anything. Selma Blair, I remember from Friends. And wasn't she in the Hellboy movies too?
Yes, she was.
And
she had superpowers with fire and stuff.
Ali Larter is probably best known for Final Destination, but neither one of those actresses really made it big into the mainstream. No. But I would watch this movie again for them. I don't know. There's something about them. You sort of gravitate to watching them when they're on screen. They just have that charisma. I don't know. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Ali Larter was part of the main cast in the first season of the show Heroes.
Oh, right. Yes, I didn't watch that.
And then she was also in some of the Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich.
Right.
So again, she's been working consistently, but to your point, she never really became that A-lister that you thought she might.
But I don't know. I really like them. And another one that I have always liked is Jennifer Coolidge. So her first role ever was on Seinfeld. She was the masseuse that was dating Jerry, but she would never give him a massage. And I remember that. But she's probably best known for sure when she broke out and it was American Pie as Stifler's mom, right?
Yeah.
And definitely got a chance to show off her improv skills when she was in Best in Show. And she was also really good in The White Lotus. I don't know.
So good in The White Lotus.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
She won Emmys back-to-back years.
Absolutely. She won in 2022 and 2023 for White Lotus. She won a Screen Actors Guild Award in 2023 for that as well. Her voice is so original. There's just something about her voice that you could just hear it and just know it's her right away.
Yeah, agreed.
In 2023, she was included in Time's 100 list of the most influential people in the world. Wow. That's
Wow.
just incredible. So yeah, so she was a standout to me because I always liked her, and then to see her in this quite a bit younger and stuff, I thought she was really good. So she seems to be able to straddle the line between comedy and drama really well too. So I don't know, I like her.
Yeah.
She just brings a different thing to the movie. So who else do I want to mention? Oh, Holland, like you mentioned, a lot of female characters in this. Holland Taylor, I want to mention. She was Professor Stromwell. She has done bit parts for years, and she's another actress with a really recognizable voice. She was in Romancing the Stone, which we reviewed here on the show. She was Joan Wilder's publisher. But I remember her from TV because she was in Bosom Buddies with Tom Hanks. And then, of course, Derek, she was the dean in Saved by the Bell, The College Years. So I always
I'll have to take your word for it on that one. I always remember her as the mom in Two and a Half Men. Charlie Sheen's mom.
Of course. Yes, of course. Yeah. So she, she's always never been a big breakout star or anything, but I think you kind of one of those people that you recognize. Most people would look at her, oh, I've seen her before somewhere. I want to mention also Linda Cardellini. I think she's really good. I have liked her ever since Freaks and Geeks. She was nominated for a Primetime Emmy for Mad Men, and then again for Dead to Me. I've never seen that one. My wife liked it though.
Yeah, me neither.
She was Velma in the live action Scooby-Doo. And my wife made me watch this show a while ago on Netflix. It was called No Good Deed. Have you heard of it?
No.
It was with Lisa Kudrow and Ray Romano. Oh, Luke Wilson was in it too, now that I think of it. He wasn't very good in it, but I mean, whatever's new. But Linda Cardellini was really good. She was a standout in that show, I remember. And when she first comes into this movie, I see her and I'm thinking, what's with the hair? And then not knowing it would become a plot point later on.
Exactly.
Which we can get to. Also, another female character I want to give a shout out to was Elise Beasley. She basically is like the entrance person for Harvard. She was in Moonlighting and she played Coach's daughter on Cheers.
Right.
Super recognizable. Yeah. And another
It's funny you mentioned that. I even said to Kay, I'm like, was she in Moonlighting? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's where I thought I recognized her from. Yeah.
She's another one that has a really recognizable voice too. Like all these female characters. But yeah, there was a lot of really strong female characters. It was a female dominated film, which I liked. So when we talk about the movie, it starts out with Reese Witherspoon basically running with these super preppy rich girls, which is not usually the type of girl that you'd expect to be a protagonist because most people hate them,
Yeah.
And she obviously thinks her boyfriend's going to propose, but he ends up breaking up with her. And he says, I want to be a senator. I need a Jackie, not a Marilyn, which is a reference that's probably lost on most of the audience, probably even back in 2001, I think. But,
yeah, I would think so too.
But even some of the conversations, the dialogue between the preppy girls, like the one girl is going into a test and she's like, oh, my lucky scrunchie. It helped me pass Spanish. And the other girl's like, you passed Spanish because you gave the prof a lap dance. Circling back to Jennifer Coolidge for a minute, she has a great line because obviously Reese Witherspoon's boyfriend breaks up with her and then goes with Vivian, the Selma Blair character. And Jennifer Coolidge is like, what's this Vivian girl got that you don't? 3 I thought it was just such a funny line. So that one made me laugh when I watched it. And I also liked how Jennifer Coolidge goes all gaga over the UPS delivery guy, which just turns into this running gag in the film. Like at one point he's like, he keeps trying to come on to her, but she doesn't have any confidence. So she's too scared. Yeah. And he's like, I've got a huge package. And then later on, he's like, I got a big one for you today. And she just can't, the messages couldn't be any clearer, but she just can't do it. Right. So I also want to mention the color pink. It's quite pervasive in this film, Derek.
Well, they even call her, what do they call her? They call her Barbie when she gets to the school. I can't remember what they call her though. Prep school Barbie or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like because of the pink, right? Everything she owns is pink. I mean, everything. She has a pink fuzzy Kleenex box. She's on the phone in her room and her phone is like a fuzzy pink phone. It reminded me of the fuzzy white guitars that ZZ Top used to play, but just pink.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I know. I was like, what is this? Even at one point, she gives over her resume and it's printed on pink paper, you know. So
and scented.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I just thought that was funny, and which makes for really good visuals. It makes for good visuals in the film. Makes for good marketing visuals for the poster, because it's very memorable. She's like wearing pink all the time. And one of the times when I thought it was interesting was when that Vivian girl is trying to like mess with her the whole time, right? She fools her by saying the party is a costume party. So Reese Witherspoon, of course, shows up in a pink bunny costume. And it reminded me of the episode of WKRP in Cincinnati when Herb Tarlick says, I went to a costume party once, only it wasn't. I was the only one in a rabbit costume. I thought, but as soon as I saw this, I don't know why I thought of that. And another thing too, she had a pink iBook. I guess that's the old MacBook.
I guess
because even my wife was like, "Is that a Mac that she's got?" I said, "It says iBook on it," so I guess it was. So
yeah, didn't they come in all sorts of weird colors and stuff? That was part of their marketing gimmick. Yeah,
clearly they came in pink. So.
Or they made a special one for the movie. Either way, it still works. So was there any scenes in the movie that kind of stand out to you or whatever? Oh, so many.
There's quite a few.
Yeah. So let me run down a few. Sure. So you were already talking about the scenes in the nail salon with Jennifer Coolidge and the UPS guy. So there's the whole thing where she talks about the bend and snap.
Yes.
Which is definitely one of the things that people remember about this movie. It was funny. So last week when I was at my job, I only have to go in the office once a week. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm in the office and we were prepping for a conference, and they had a whole bunch of us down in one of the rooms, and they were like giving out gifts for the conference, and we had to like unpack them and move them from like the pack boxes into like these little gift bags. And so we had like almost like an assembly line where everyone was putting these together. And my job was to literally bend down, pick up the things out of the box, and then turn around and put them on the table. And the group I was with, we were like doing 3 and 4 times more than everybody else. And everyone's like, how are you doing this so fast? I go, it's the bend and snap. Like half the room just starts laughing. And the rest of the people are like, I don't get it. So you could tell right away who knew the movie and who didn't. And it was like, again, it was all women that were more or less similar in age to me who clearly knew this movie. But I was like, again, it's one of those things, the bend and snap. It's like, it's just a trademark of this movie. If you know, you know. So I always like
I have
that.
to ask you, when you did the snap, did you like use your arms to push your breasts out? You know,
of course.
That was the whole
I watched
thing.
the movie. I know how the bend and snap works. Come on.
I love how I love how Jennifer
Yeah.
Coolidge uses it and breaks the guy's nose.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
One of the things that made me laugh when I watched it this time around was she talks about the statistics. She goes, it works 98% of the time with a callback, and 80% of the times you get to dinner or something. And it reminded me of the scene in Anchorman with Paul Rudd where he's talking about Sex Panther. Yep. You know, 60% of the time it works every time. And I'm like, it's just the difference in how stupid men are versus how intelligent women are. I was like, you know what? This is a perfect example of the differences between men and women. So again, it made me laugh on that sort of meta level as well. And then we don't have to go in right this second, but I love the entire ending. The whole court scene at the end is fantastic. It's my absolute favorite part of the movie. When it's on TV and I'm like, oh, they're coming up to the last 20 minutes in court. Like I glue myself to the set and I just don't look away. I've probably seen that end sequence 30 times or more. Like, this movie's on TV a lot. And whenever it comes, I'm like, oh, she's going to get hit on. Okay, we're getting close to the part. And it's like, I always watch that last scene, which I'm sure we'll talk about more.
I like that basically the whole second half of the movie centers on the case. I thought that was really good. I thought that's to me where the script really gets it right. It's not a great script in this movie, but I do like that. And I do like that part. I agree with you. That's good.
Yeah. No, it works really well. And
we'll definitely talk about that scene.
We'll circle back to that. Yeah.
One thing I want to mention, another scene I want to mention was when they go to the trailer. When she goes with Jennifer Coolidge to that Airstream trailer, which is like the smallest trailer in the world, and they confront her boyfriend, who is played by John Capello, the Canadian actor. He was the janitor in The Breakfast Club. And
that's where I recognize.
Yes.
I recognize this guy.
And he was the older sister's fiance in 16 Candles too. I like how Elle uses some of her newly learned legal words to intimidate him. And this is the scene where both her and Jennifer Coolidge get confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
And it's so that's a good part of the scene. And I also like the part of the scene when they're driving away and Reese Witherspoon just gives Jennifer Coolidge this look because she realizes that she likes helping people. She's like, hey, this is pretty good. Like, it's a real turning point for the character, I feel. And I really like that scene a lot because then right after that, she helps her with the bend and snap, and then she helps that nerdy, awkward guy get the date with those hot girls.
Yeah.
She pretends to be his ex and you know, all that. So I liked that scene with the trailer. I feel like that was like a real pivotal point in the movie. So thought that was good. But yeah, no, I agree. The case part at the end when they're in court was really, really good. Another thing too, in that whole sequence, you know, she gets a chance to show that, you know, practicality is like better than book smarts because she goes to the jail to take Ali Larder's stuff. And again, she's like helping people. Like,
oh, that's what I was going to talk about. Yeah, that was the scene I was struggling to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is something she would never do when she was hanging with the preppy rich girls. But by doing that to her and being kind to her and listening to her, she gained her trust. And Victor Garber even acknowledges how important that is to being a good lawyer. You got to get the trust of your clients. And then how she uses her knowledge of fashion basically just to crack the case. You know, like she figures out that the pool boy's gay because he knows that her shoes they're so last season. Now, quite stereotypical, you know, but I mean, it was 25
years ago, but
I guess. But, you know, you just assume that a gay guy knows shoes. Although I like how then she turns to some other guy and she's like, what kind of shoes am I wearing? And he's like, black.
Black ones?
Yeah. So they're just punching that up a bit, I guess. I also, along those lines too, with the whole homosexual thing, when she mentions it to Luke Wilson, like he's the senior student on the case, so he gets to do the cross-examine. And so he asked the pool boy a bunch of these like rapid fire questions. He's like, did you ever take her on a date? Yes. Where'd you go on a date? Restaurant. What's your boyfriend's name? Chuck. He's like, no, not Chuck. No boyfriend, no Chuck. And then Chuck stands up in the crowd. He's like, you. And again, that whole stereotypical homosexual thing going on was like pretty pervasive. And again, like you said, it was 25 years ago, but you know, they really did play it up. I also liked in that courtroom scene how Jennifer Coolidge comes in to watch the case and she brings the delivery guy. They're obviously an item. And his nose is
got
all
the bandage on his nose.
Yeah, that was pretty funny too. So, and again, like how she uses her knowledge of you know, fashion and hairstyling. Yeah. Because she knows Linda Cardellini couldn't have been in the shower at the time her father was shot because she just got a perm. And everyone knows.
For risk of deactivating the ammonium thiglocolates.
Exactly.
Come on, I've seen that scene 30 times. I could recite it. And I love that when she turns to the jury and she goes, why was it a bad idea for Jody Marcinko to do the wet t-shirt contest? And her two friends that are there put up their hand because they know too not to get your hair wet. So It's funny, like the things that different people know that you think, oh, this person's an idiot. It's like, well, different people know different things about what's important to them. So it's a small detail, but I always like that. The one goes, takes her gum out of her mouth and puts her hand up. Like, I know. So.
And it just goes to show that you can know so much about books and like case law and precedents and all this stuff. And sometimes all you need to know is common sense or knowledge of certain things that really can crack a case, you know? And that's why again, it's very simple, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So we mentioned about all the female characters, but there's quite a few bad guys in this movie. You know, like villains, I guess. Vivian.
Well, hang on before we move on.
Yeah.
The again with females, the prosecuting attorney on the other side is a woman, and the judge is a woman. Again, not accidents. Like the fact that so many women are in such important roles in this movie, like it's very deliberate. But I mean, it doesn't make it any less of a movie. In fact, you know, again, it's here. These roles could be played by anyone, and the fact that these roles are all played by women, it's like, hey. That's
deliberate
great.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Very deliberate choices. And it works. It works perfectly.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. And what was always, I'm talking about the villains in this movie, like that Vivian girl played by Selma Bear, but she eventually comes around, but like, she's really bad. But Linda Cardellini is obviously a bad person. That Warner, her boyfriend, he's bad. Victor Garber turns out to be just a complete jerk. You know, he's a bad guy. There's so many bad guys in this movie. You know, it's nice to see that, you know, like, because at the beginning, like I say, when you first see Reese Witherspoon with these preppy girls, you look down on her because we normally in society think they're the bad guys, you know, like, you know, because we just don't like them because they're usually just selfish and, you know, they got tons of money. But it turns out that there's a lot worse people in this world than that. You know, like, it's not such a bad thing. And this movie definitely plays that out. I also like how they use the title cards before the final credits to show what happens to the characters. I like that in movies. Yeah. You know, and they show kind of what happens to this person and this person. And then Luke Wilson is proposing to her tonight was the thing. And I thought that's a nice way to end it. And they're playing the song Perfect Day while this is going on. I thought it was pretty good.
Which was also the song they play at the beginning. And as my wife pointed out, she's like, and obviously, because we were talking a little bit about the movie, and I told her, I said, like, as many times as I've seen this, I have not seen the very beginning of the movie very often because I usually join it halfway through on TV. So it was sort of a nice refresher for me to see it from the beginning. And then at the end of the movie, when the song came on again, and I'm humming along, and she said, you know, did you catch that this is the same song at the beginning? And think about what she thought a perfect day was at the beginning. You know, she thought she was going to get a proposal. She thought, you know, her perfect life would be to the husband of the wife of this man who was going to be successful. Like, that in her mind at that time was the perfect thing. And then now it's like she's gained her confidence, she's gained her independence, she's got this education, she's got a career path, she's proven that she can do the job as well, or if not better than her peers. Like, different perfect day. But it also had that little nice wrapper on it of, and she's going to get proposed to. But again, she doesn't know that, and she doesn't expect it, and it's still a perfect day. Like, it beats you over the head a little bit with it, but at the same time, it's good. Yeah, and the song is good, which helps.
It is. The only criticism that you
it's very
could
late
have,
90s, though.
Yeah, the only criticism you could have on that was that perfect day still requires a man proposing to her.
Yeah,
you know, there's still that hook because it is 25 years ago. But still, overall, I mean, she's still the protagonist. You know, she still did it herself and all that sort of thing. So, you know, we're willing to overlook that. Before we give the film a rating, do you want to mention anything else?
No, I think I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I thought you would, and I'm glad you did. And like I said, it had been on my list of movies for us to watch on the show. So I'm glad we had a chance to for you to visit for the first time, but for me to revisit it. And it gave me an excuse. Like, I needed an excuse, gave me an excuse to rewatch it again this week. So,
and like I say, doing this podcast, sometimes it comes with some surprises. You know, go figure. Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield from 1986, I don't like. And Legally Blonde from 2001, I do like. So you never know what you're going to get around here, I guess. Jeez.
Exactly.
I was surprised by it. So you want to give it a rating out of 10 for me?
Give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I give it a 7. I give it a 7 out of 10.
That's fair.
It was quite good. Yep. Wasn't like I said, it wasn't Citizen Kane, but it was enjoyable.
No, but it's fun. Yep, that last 20 minutes is great. Like, the whole thing. Yes, we can agree she was in the shower. Like, it's again, if you watch it again, there's some bits that really jump out at you as like, oh yeah, this is a good scene. So,
yep. No, I thought it was quite good. Okay, so what do you say on that note that we have some
fun with Caveman?
All right, so you called an audible last week because you wanted to do another movie about going back to school. And it got me thinking, you know, like, if we look at movies and TV shows and in pop culture about people going back to school, it happens quite a bit, you know. So I'm going to give you some straight up trivia on going back to school, but it's in movies or TV shows, okay?
Okay.
We're going to start with an easy one because I want you to start off by getting this one right. These are all pretty easy. But what 1986 comedy film stars Rodney Dangerfield as a wealthy businessman who enrolls in college alongside of his son?
Well, it's one we watched last week, Back to School.
Okay, in Billy Madison from 1995, what grade does Billy have to return to first in order to inherit his father's company?
Oh, wow. I can't remember if he has to go back to kindergarten or just grade 1. I'm going to say grade 1.
It's kindergarten. He's got to go all the way back to kindergarten to start over. Okay. In the TV show Community, I don't know if you've ever watched Community or not.
I did. I watched the first few seasons.
Okay. Yep. So what subject does Jeff Winger falsely claim to have a degree in, forcing him to return to Greendale Community College?
I want to say he was pretending to be a lawyer, so I'm going to say a law degree.
Very good. Okay, which movie features a 30-year-old undercover cop played by Drew Barrymore returning to high school for a journalism assignment?
Oh, yeah, this came out when I worked at Blockbuster. This was Never Been Kissed.
All right, I got a tough one for you here. In Never Have I Ever, which character returns to school after a summer of physical therapy caused by an accident involving their father?
I've never even heard of that. I have no idea.
It was Devi Vishwakumar. I believe it was a show by Mindy Kaling, if I'm not mistaken. She didn't play Devi, but okay. In the film 21 Jump Street from 2012, which two officers are forced to go undercover at a high school?
Like, do you want the actors' names?
The characters' names.
Jeez. No, I have no idea. I never watched a TV show, but it's been years since I saw the movie.
It was Schmidt and Janko. Okay.
Sure.
In the Simpsons episode, Homer Goes to College. What type of animal does Homer accidentally release, causing chaos during an inspection?
Was it a bee?
It was a pig. It was a pig that.
I thought he was the accident. I'm the head bee guy. No.
Which 2000s comedy features a group of adults returning to college to form a fraternity led by the character Mitch Martin?
Oh, that's the one we just talked about. That was Old School.
In The Gilmore Girls, what subject does Paris Geller return to Yale early to study after her relationship troubles in later seasons?
I mean, I've never seen a single episode. I'll just say law. She's a lawyer.
It was pre-med. It was medicine.
Yeah.
It had to be
law or medicine. It was one of the other.
Yeah, it was like Animal House, pre-law, pre-med, whatever. Okay, the last one. On the TV show Friends, which character returns to teaching after her maternity leave?
Returns to teaching after maternity leave? Mm-hmm. Well, I know Ross was a teacher, but he obviously wasn't on maternity leave. Mm-hmm. Well, I think the only character that had at least Kudrow had a baby too, right? I'll say it was Jennifer Aniston's character was Rachel.
It was Phoebe Buffay. It
was Phoebe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all good. Okay, so we've out on 3 movies in a row, so we're going to have to do a topic next time out. But we're going to take a break next week, right? We're getting close to the holidays. We're going to take a holiday next week. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not available next week, so let's take a week off.
Okay, so we'll take a holiday next week as we're coming into the holidays. We're going
to ring rang-a-dong for a holiday?
That's what we're going to ring rang-a-dong for a holiday. Yeah, put your arms in the air, let me hear you say. We'll take a break next week. We'll come back in 2 weeks' time, and we will do a topic. We'll figure out what we're going to do between now and then. And then, we're getting close to the end of the year. Before you know it, we'll be starting season 11. Season 11 will be starting in no time, so it's hard to believe. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks. And until then, I'm Chris McBrien. And on behalf of myself and Derek Myers and our producer Sloth, we all want to say thanks for taking the time to listen to Pop Goes Your World, the pop culture podcast for the generations.
Thanks for listening to Pop Goes Your World. You can contact Chris and Derek at popgoesyourworld.com. Please take a minute and review the podcast on iTunes or wherever you download and listen to the show.